clearly defined areas, strengths, and indicators that give measurements of professional learning, competent, practice, and effective management. The Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers clarify what quality in teaching means in the K-12 reform. This set of guidelines clarifies the knowledge, skills, and values that instructors should possess in order to be competent, improve students' learning outcome, and ultimately provide high-quality instruction. It is based on the educational ideals of inclusion, lifelong learning, and learner-centeredness. Thus, the professional standards turn into a visible declaration of professional accountability that can aid instructors in considering and evaluating their own practices as they strive for both professional and personal development.
In this video of learning experience, it will show the exposure of field study students to the various activities that allows them to examine different lesson plan exemplars and its parts, and tells their experience upon constructing their own lesson plan. Domain 4, Curriculum and Planning. Domain 4 addresses teachers' knowledge and interaction with the national and local curriculum requirements. This domain encompasses their ability to translate curriculum content into learning activities that are relevant to learners and based on the principles of effective teaching and learning. It expects teachers to apply their professional knowledge to plan and design individually or in collaboration with colleagues well-structured and sequenced lessons.
And this domain consists of 5 strands. The first strand is the planning and management of teaching and learning process. Planning and managing teaching and learning process improves instruction and learning by creating guidelines for teachers to adhere to. Planning also gives teaching and learning a direction and ensures that the human and material resources employed in educating students are utilized effectively. According to the answer of Ms. Laulita and the members of the group, writing effective lesson plans is the most important skill that a teacher needs to master because lesson plan is the teacher's compendium of what students need to learn and how it will be done effectively during the class time. It also involves designing and incorporating appropriate learning activities and strategies to achieve a substantive feedback on student learning.
Next is the learning outcomes aligned with learning competencies. Students will perform better in class if learning outcomes and competencies are aligned because they will be guided and have an easier time concentrating on their goals. The congruence of the learning outcomes to the degree of knowledge, abilities, and attitudes indicated in the competency is known as alignment with the competency. Based on the analysis of Ms. Mariano and the members, lesson plan is coherent from the intended learning outcomes through the supplementary activities and evaluations because it begins with the clearly stated learning objectives, so both evaluation and the activities must be aligned.
Let's move on relevance and responsiveness of learning programs. Learning programs are essential in the implementation of the curriculum at the school classroom levels. This lesson will guide you in understanding how to plan and implement relevant and responsive learning procedures for the students. All members said in their reflection that they were challenged in creating engaging and interactive activities that will keep her students motivated and interested in the lesson. Additionally, members said that learning procedures needs appropriate learning activities and instructional activities to obtain feedback on students' learning.
We have also the professional collaboration to enrich teaching practice. When teacher works together with dependable colleagues, they are more likely to feel comfortable disclosing concepts that may sound unusual. Teacher can develop concepts to determine how to use them for the benefit of their students in the group support environment. They can share ideas on what teaching methods is the best to use in certain lesson plan. In the activity 4, all members answered different teaching methods in their analysis, but most of them answered that the teaching method used in each exemplar's lesson plan is the inquiry-based learning techniques. Inquiry-based learning is a method of teaching that makes link to the actual word. It is a method or instruction that promotes problem solving and hands-on learning among pupils.
Lastly, we have the teaching and learning resources, including ICT. ICT in education increases student engagement and knowledge retention. Students are more focused on their work when ICT is incorporated into lesson. This is because using technology to teach the same concepts in various ways can make learning more entertaining and fun. With that reason, all the members believe that implementing the use of ICT in curriculum planning will help the teacher to have innovative teaching approaches that will increase students' engagement, interest, abilities, and makes learning enjoyable at the same time productive.
Here's a step-by-step guide on how we write a detailed lesson plan in Filipino 1 with the topic of mga tanong tungkol sa napakinggang pabula. First, we determine the learning objectives along with the content and performance standards. Before anything else, we should have a clear idea of what we want our students to learn from the lesson. Write down the specific goals, skills, or knowledge that we want them to acquire. Second, choose the topic and the subtopics. Once we know the learning objectives, we can now decide on the topics and subtopics that we will cover. Make sure that they are relevant to the learning objectives and are appropriate for the grade level. Third, identify the materials and resources. We will need to gather all the materials and resources that we will use during the lesson. This may include books, worksheets, visual aids, and other teaching materials. Together with this, we should include the references that we should use in making the lesson plan. In addition to that, we will also include the subjects that are integrated into our chosen lesson. Next, plan the introduction. Start with the review, then proceed to the motivation part. The introduction should catch the students' attention and provide an overview of what they will be learning. It should also connect to the lesson to their prior knowledge and experiences. Next, we have plan the content for discussion. This is the heart of the lesson where you will deliver the content and engage the students in learning. Break down the lesson into manageable chunks and plan activities that will help the students achieve the learning objectives. We also have plan the closure. The closure should summarize the main points of the lesson and provide an opportunity for the students to reflect on what they have learned. And lastly, plan the assessment. We need to determine how we will know if the students have achieved the learning objectives. This may include quizzes, worksheets, or other types of assessments. After the assessment, we can also add assignments that may be helpful for the next lesson. These are the following steps that we, the Group 1, have created a detailed lesson plan that will help the student learn Filipino effectively. Don't forget to be creative and have fun.
Here is our table of specification. A table of specification, or the TOS, can be used to help teachers frame the decision-making process of test construction and improve the validity of teachers' evaluation based on tests constructed for classroom use. Here in our table of specification, we can see the lesson or the topic, learning outcomes, number of teaching hours, percentage of allocation, number of items, item specification per taxonomy of learning, and the item placement. Let us first discuss the lesson topic. Lesson topic is the specific subject a teacher focusing on for the duration of the lesson. The learning outcomes is the concise description of what students will learn and how that learning will be assessed. For the computation of the percentage of allocation, you're going to divide the number of items per learning outcomes. Example here in the learning outcome number 1, we have 5 by the total number of a test, which is 15. So we have here the total 46.67% of allocation. The items per specification that our group use is inspired by the Bloom's taxonomy, and all of it are represented in the test of our TOS, which is in the next part. Lastly is we have the item placement. It is where the Bloom's taxonomy located in the test.
To sum it up, these are the reflections of the members after accomplishing the worksheet number 4. As a pre-service teacher, we have come to realize the importance of curriculum and planning in ensuring effective teaching and learning. Through the worksheet related to PPST Domain 4, Curriculum and Planning, we have learned that a well-designed curriculum can provide a clear roadmap for teachers and students and help them to achieve their learning goals. One of the most important things we have learned is the need to align the curriculum with the learning objectives and standards. This ensures that the students are learning what they need to know and are being assessed in a fair and consistent manner. Additionally, we have learned that it is important to differentiate instruction to meet the needs of the learners in the classroom. This means that teachers need to be flexible and adaptable to accommodate different learning styles and abilities.
Moreover, writing a lesson plan as a pre-service teacher is an eye-opening experience for us. It allows us to think through the objective and goals of the lesson, consider the needs and abilities of students, and plan out the activities and assessment necessary to achieve success. It can also be a time-consuming process, but ultimately it helps create a more organized and effective classroom environment that benefits both the teacher and the students. Overall, this activity has taught us that effective teaching and learning requires careful planning, alignment, and assessment. By incorporating these elements into our teaching, we can help our students succeed and reach their full potential.
Professional